Hey everyone. So my name's Sirturmund here, kind of bringing you guys a little breakdown of the deck guide for scouts with Misfortune and Quinn. So this deck got me to about 500, I think 535 LP in the America server. When I started playing, I ended up gaining I went from about 270 LP to that 535, which at the time was rank 8 on the ladder. So this scouts deck actually got me to the first page of the America ladder. And I kind of wanted to do a quick breakdown and kind of show some gameplay videos on it so that you guys can learn how to play this Scouts deck. Now, obviously, Scouts is not very difficult to learn, but there's a lot of different versions of Scouts. So this is the version that I liked and I have had a lot of success when I was playing these past couple of days. So right off the bat, every scout list is going to have three free feather trackers. It's very standard. Obviously, it helps you. You can drag stuff with misfortune skill. You can combine it with the protector, right? I prefer to go Jagged Butcher over the alternative, which is Penitent Squire, because in this version of the deck, I'd rather go wide, as you guys will see later when I explain the Warden and the Navigator. I'd rather go wide and keep enough mana for my buffs and my rallies. That I think the one mana that it costs to play the banner is actually too expensive. And I'd rather use my mana for something more impactful. So ranges yourself, very straightforward, protects you against a lot of pings in this meta. Blinding Assault is kind of like a better Fleet Feather tracker, since it allows you to also trigger the misfortunes with Scout, right? Basti Protector protects your units. So here, Marai Warden is my choice for my other two drop, allowing me to kind of play like a more go wide gameplay. So the way that I'm playing this deck is a lot more like super aggro low to the curve. I think I rather prefer the Marai Warden over playing something like Stony Suppressor on my two drop. Because I think the Stony Suppressor is a more controlly, kind of more mid-range deck, while this version of the deck is more straight up aggro. And that's the way that I like to play my Scouts games. Triple Sharp Side, pretty standard in every Demacia. Misfortune, can't have Scouts without her, no matter whether it's Misfortune's Queen or Misfortune Poppy, she kind of carries the deck. Obviously, the whole goal is to try to level her up and kind of go from there. But sometimes, even if you can't, that's why I like going wide because it gives my alternate win condition. Vanguard Surgeon is actually a very key card in this deck, in my opinion. Not only is it a great blocker for a lot against a lot of decks with his full health and 3 attack, but he also gives you access to for Demacia. And that for the Massive card has actually won me a ton of games where you can go wide with the Warden or go wide with the Navigator or go wide with Queen and you can buff your units, especially if you're able to buff the Sky units and have such a powerful attack that the opponent cannot do anything against it. So really underrated card in my opinion. And I prefer playing him over the Lauren Prodigy because again, Prodigy is more for like when you're going for more mid-range control type of scouts, and this list is not that. Obviously, 3 golden ages. You want to just rally, rally, rally to level up Misfortune and Queen. So I go triple Island Navigator because I want to be able to go wide and also get the Scout attack to be able to help Misfortune. And then just 2 Gristle Rangers as 2 more Scouts units. Because usually, if I'm jumping Misfortune on 3, I always want to make sure, almost always want to make sure that I have something on 4 that I can do as a Scout attack, either the Blinding Assault or one of these 2 units. And then Quinn is the other champion. Again, she kind of fits more in this deck where I'm trying to go wide and trying to buff units with the for Demacia. And then Citria is the last card in the deck, kind of like a finisher. The fearsome kind of gets through a lot of decks, especially against Ahri Kennen. Obviously, the problem with Citria is that she is expensive and she can just get recalled by the homecoming. So I'm a little bit unsure whether 3 of Citria is the right thing, but I think it actually ends up working out pretty well. So, uh, but yeah, this is my version of the deck that got me about 300 LP. So hope you guys enjoy the gameplay that is coming up next. Alright, we're up against Draven Viktor. Not sure what the opponent is playing. I'm guessing it's just gonna be a pure burn deck, so maybe I need to try to finish this game as fast as possible. Usually, I want to be able to get like early units. Result doesn't sound too bad here, just because he might have like Mystic Shots and stuff like that. But it is a little awkward to keep it with this hand, right? Because the only thing that I really have is a Butcher. So I'm gonna just keep the Butcher. At least I have a blocker in case that I completely break. Obviously, I ended up not breaking too bad. And kind of go from there. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I think with against this deck, yeah, it's just full aggro. Oh yeah, it's just full aggro, full PNC aggro. So I'm surprised why he's playing Viktor instead of Rumble. Um, so let's see how that actually goes. Here we can play the Mirai. It's the same. If he attacks here, that's actually worse for him because this is only 1 damage. You shouldn't attack here, opponent. You want to block the Mirai, not let me get a free trade with the 1/2. I guess, I mean, even if he does it like that, I'm always gonna block with it. So this is a little bit weird because it's like I really don't know what I'm going against. I'm willing to do this because I know he's not gonna block. You know, it's only 1 damage, so it doesn't really do much, but it lets me get this fearsome blocker on the field now. Cool. Keep enough mana for sharp sight to be able to kind of, you know, pull something, I guess. I like the island. I like the island navigator just because it gives me the extra unit. Oh my goodness, look at all this lurk, useless lurk cards. Because now if he attacks with a boom, we can always block with any of our 1-drops, right? So he tapped out of almost everything. So the only thing that he could have here to block me, or stop me, I guess, is I'm gonna present the navigator. I want him, so I'm gonna block with the navigator right here. This is gonna force him to use his spinning axe. If he uses the spinning axe and does not discard a survival skills, then it's actually better for us. And I think it's better to actually keep the fearsome because the fearsome obviously can get through with the scouts. So here he's gonna play his axe. He doesn't discard the survivor skills, so we can just play sharp sight, block, kill the Draven, and boom. Now this still has 2 health. This is fearsome. So no matter what, we get in for 3 damage next turn. At least with the scout attack. Of course, it doesn't matter, but look at that. We draw the MF. So now it's even better. So now we're getting even more damage in. Are you gonna do the Revenant? Wow. Why did he go this way? I guess he could do the spinning axe. Okay. He shouldn't have a lot of cards that he can discard anymore. So what we gotta be careful here, and what we cannot attack with the MF, is the spinning axe into something else, right? So I think it's better off kind of attacking with everything except for the MF. Next turn, I think we're gonna go for the level up on the MF. We have the sharp side to also protect it, right? So wow, opponent is taking a lot of damage. So I'm okay with all this chip damage that we're doing, because that's really the way that we win this game, right? Just chip damage after chip damage after chip damage. So here, I'm gonna wait. I want to wait for him to tap out of 5 mana. So he could have Mystic Shot plus get excited, so that's why I don't want to commit the Golden Ages yet. I want to be able to have 5 mana to protect myself, okay? So now he commits another mana, so now he has no way to kill my MF through the sharp side. To the point that I don't even think I'm gonna use. I don't think I'm gonna use the barrier on the MF. I think I'm just gonna use it on this guy. Is that even the best target for it? What about one of these two? Let me get in with the scout damage. But I think no matter what, I can get in with the Island Navigator, right? Because he's gonna have to block, aka losing one of his units. This gives me a blocker in case that he attacks right here. So if he does the get excited right here, we have the sharp side to protect the misfortune. And that's what I thought. So we kept the sharp side for that reason, because he needed to have both Mystic and get excited, but that's what we waited for him to tap out of 5 mana. So that was the game. As you saw, we didn't draw MF early, but we still kind of were able to kind of put a little bit of pressure on him before we got what we needed to do. So, but yeah, that's the game. So this game we're up against Kindred Braum. I would think that we're actually decent against this deck because it seems like this is gonna be a slow deck. Um, and usually against slow decks like this, you can win with the rally. I wonder if it's correct to keep one rally. Usually against failure Shadow House, you want to usually keep one rally. But we also don't have a strong opening, so maybe keeping the rally is a mistake. We'll find out if we get punished for that. So we kind of did get punished a little bit, but the Bangan Surgeon is actually really good. I'm willing to do this right away, just so that I'm able to start doing some chip damage on him, right? Yeah, unfortunately, this is not the greatest hand. The Vanguard Surgeon is actually not a bad draw. There's a lot of times that for the master just kind of just wins me the game out of nowhere. Like you buff, you go wide with scouts, and you just win the game. So he's very underrated. This for the massive card, to be honest. I guess the Surgeon in general. Huh. So didn't he? He took more damage if he did that. I will need to do the math. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll play the Misfortune. We have the Scout next turn, so no reason to do anything else. We have the Sharp Sight, which allows us to protect someone. What does he do here? Unfortunately, dragging the Braum means that he gets the little Poro, but we can just kill the Poro right away. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. And we get the 3 damage from Quinn. Okay, he still gets the Poro. It was actually, I think I actually should have pulled with the Sharp Sight. Now that I think about it. But you know what? We can play for the level up. We have enough rallies that we can play for the level up and not have to worry about Misfortune dying, right? He's even scared of the Sharp Sight. The fact that he didn't block with Braum means that scared of the Sharp Sight. So I think actually would have been better to do it that way. I don't know. It's a little. I think he might have been a good play. He has enough mana for Vengeance here, but he doesn't go for it. So we can just. So I'm gonna bait out. I wanna bait out the. I wanna bait out the Battle Feast right here. So that's what I'm gonna do on the Valor. So if he has the Battle Feast, he has to do it right there. He doesn't have it. I think I still keep enough mana for the Sharp Sight. No reason not to. If you do this, you're gonna lose your Braum. Yeah. We can do this. We can either finish with a second rally or finish with Marai plus the Sharp Sight. And I think based on the way that he's doing, and he only has 2 mana, of course, we can just finish up with the second rally. Or we can just finish the game right there. I forgot that Quinn also leveled up. So Quinn was gonna pull the Braum to the right side, as you guys kind of saw there with the eye. So, but yeah, that's kind of what happens when you go Scouts versus Control decks. Okay, so we're up against Ahri Kennen, and we're going against the person who's top 1 on EU right now. So he had like 1,000 LP, so I wonder what happened. I like the idea of going super aggro though. Like this looks really tempting, just keeping this whole hand. And I think I'm gonna do that. So against Ahri Kennen, you kind of want to go as aggro as possible, so that you can just like, you know, narrow them down as much as possible. I guess kill them, you know. So I think I'm actually gonna go with the Fleet Feather into the Butcher. I'd rather do the 2 damage with the Butcher than trying to, you know, trigger his ability. Now, obviously, it looks like he's just gonna recall anyway. So, what we can also do, we can do the Blinding Assault into the cannon, and if he tries to recall, it's a problem. But the Blinding Assault is gonna be weak against Snopify. So I think it's much better to go Fleet Feather Tracker. If he wants to recall his cannon and then kill this one afterwards, that's okay. He's still gonna have to take 4 damage. And again, I think I'm just gonna go wide. Oh, he's not even gonna do that. Okay. So we can do this. We're gonna sacrifice this Fleet Feather Tracker because he's gonna die to the cannon anyways. And we still push in our 4 damage right away. We are kind of running a little bit low on resources though, so we do kind of need something else. I mean, Citra is okay, but she doesn't really do a ton. I want him to tap out of mana before I do the blinding assault. Okay. So we can do the blinding assault now. And maybe this time around we can actually wait before we play the butcher. Although I'm scared that I will get what I'm scared of if I wait is that I'll get something that I can play for 4 mana, and then I don't wanna have to play the butcher there. So maybe we just go butcher again, just because we don't have any other place anyways, right? So, ooh, alright, we'll just do the misfortune. See, I mean, I guess I could have played the butcher anyways, and if I saved the mana, I could have gone double blinding assault. So maybe it would have been better to save the mana. But there are other plays that I could have joined that were 4 mana cost too, right? He's actually gonna let this go through. So I'm gonna do it on the dancing droplet. I don't want him to give the chance of recalling the cannon and then being able to kill this. So now he has to recall the dancing droplet instead of recalling the cannon. Okay, that does 2 damage. He's still gonna try to recall the cannon, I guess, right? But see, that forced him to have to use that on the droplet, which does give him a draw, to be fair. But it could have been a lot worse, and this is a lot of damage that he just took right here. He has to recall this or just save it, okay? And that's what we drag with the Valor again, by the way, because if he had a way to save it, we want the one that's already marked to be the one to die. So next turn we can have Valor again, and I think he's so or we can also just do the Navigator, right? All right, so he's gonna try to go after the Misfortune. The problem that he's gonna have here, and this is what this deck struggles with, is that we are gonna be able to just kill him down with the scouts, right? So he kills Misfortune, it gives us enough to be able to just do the blinding assault. Like, he needs to kill Misfortune right here, which allows us to just open up with the blinding assault. So now we have 3 scouts that we're opening up with it. So no matter what, we guarantee almost 4 damage. And if he spends his mana recalling any of these units, we can drop down the Citria and just win the game. So like, what does he do here? He has to summon that. Okay, cool. We're gonna drag the cannon. We also have Sharpshot now. We're gonna drag the cannon so that if he blocks this, he doesn't die, because he could have blocked the cannon. He could have blocked the butcher with the cannon, and we would have just lost. Cannon Lightning Rush doesn't do it. So he doesn't have enough mana to stun the Citria, so it's tempting to save this guy. But I think at this point, we just drop Citria and we win, because he doesn't have fearsome blockers. So, I mean, I could have saved it, which is fair. I mean, you know, it would have pushed 4 damage, put him at 1. I think either play that we didn't matter. Yeah, and keeping the sharp side allows me to defend myself in case that somehow he survives that. So, but yeah, that's usually how you can beat the Ahri Kennen using the Scouts deck. You just kind of rush them down as fast as possible and go from there. This time around, we're up against Poros. So I actually think that this deck has a pretty good win rate versus Poros. I think you can rush them down faster than they can rush you down, especially if you're able to draw the Misfortune. Fortunately, no Misfortune here. I think we're going to try to mulligan for it while still keeping enough aggro tools. So we're going to keep both of these cards to be able to kind of rush them down fast, while at the same time discarding the other 2 to either get the Rally or get the Misfortune. Okay, I mean, the Bright Protector is not bad. It allows me to kind of get a free trade. So we'll do this. If he has a 1-drop, that's what I was scared of. I was debating if it's actually worth it to block here. I think I'm gonna do it.
Not on my work site, Bob.
It makes the Bright Protector a little bit worse, because I could have obviously gotten a good trade with the Challenger. Or also, I guess you know, if I knew I was going to draw Misfortune, I wouldn't have taken that trade, but you never know that you're going to draw Misfortune, right? So maybe a slight misplay. But again, we still have enough tools here to go wide with Marai and then play Misfortune next turn. Some of these decks do play Get Excited though, so it's very possible that they can get excited on Misfortune. But I'm okay forcing that, because if they force that out, it slows them down a little bit. So if they try to kill Misfortune in this turn or next turn, I guess I can just do that. Not sure what the opponent is thinking about though. And there's only two plays that you can do here. You can either have the Poro, or you can play the 2-drop. I guess they could also have another of the spell or the Force Sheath. So who knows? Okay, so the opponent plays Stony Urchin, which tells me he does not really have any great tools, especially because he discarded an Augmented Experimenter. So yeah, we're gonna play with Fortune. I'm forcing to have to get excited this. The fact that he discarded the Augmented Experimenter means that if he has Get Excited, he doesn't have any great targets for Get Excited. So, okay, it's not even the Get Excited, it's just gonna be this card. Uh, I messed up there. I needed to look at how many spells he had, and I think it was 2 or 3. Because this card is actually glitch, where it puts all the spells that you see on the top of your deck. So these are the cards that's gonna be drawing nets. So at least I know for sure that his next 2 cards at least are gonna be spells. Might be 3. Again, I didn't take a full look. Um, okay, so it was the okay. So he shuffled the deck anyways. So now we don't know what his cards are gonna be. But this is looking really good for us, because the opponent seems to be pretty brick, to be honest. And we have Misfortune on the field, we have the Scouts, we have a way to protect it with Bright Steel on our Nets attack before we even open. Um, and we're just gonna put in the damage, right? We even have an elusive blocker somehow. So, oh, we even have the resolve. Wow. Yeah, I think this game is over. Oh no, that's a bad. Well, okay. The opponent needed to get something, guys, right? Needed to get something. I think I'm gonna go with Quinn instead of the Bright Steel. So again, we're a little bit scared of a Get Excited, which is completely possible that he could have it. So if he does that, it's actually better to go for the MF level up condition. So these are one of the decisions that you have to kind of make. I think if we level up MF, we just win though. So maybe it is right to just go for the MF win condition. But Queen is really tempting because Queen lets me go really wide right here, which is also really tempting. I think I'm better off doing this. So we'll do this to protect her against a Get Excited if we need, if he has one. And allows me to open up with the Scouts right here. So now we can open up with the Island Navigator. And then it also means that we can attack with Misfortune. And then we still have Ranger's Resolve for next turn. Next turn we're gonna develop Queen for sure. And kind of let him decide how he wants to block. It's also a possibility that I just go super wide here and just throw the Bright Steel Protector. But I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake because he can always just block, he's gonna block one of the Bright Steel Protectors anyway. So yeah, fortunately for us, the opponent is really break, right? So um, this is showing kind of like the type of games that you can get, but it's not like crazy. It's also crazy that he did that because he only has 2 mana. So whatever he drew here, if it was something like useful, he's gonna have to discard it. Okay, so it's gonna be this. We can just play the Protector, right? Just put as much damage as possible. Yeah, I guess we can just do that. If we do it on this one, it doesn't matter because he can just, you know, he can block the other Protector with his Archivist. So let's just do it on this girl and go from there. He's gonna kill one of our Protectors no matter what. Because these 2 units are gonna die, right, to the MS thing. So it didn't matter. It really didn't matter which one we put the Protector in. But I guess at least it keeps this girl healthy, if anything, for whatever reason. And then next turn we just level up Misfortune on the Queen attack, right? He will have to have double Get Excited to be able to really come back from this. And I don't think that's something that the opponent has. Yep. So now he finally gets his Poro. He probably has Iceborne Legacy in his hand. But his problem is that Misfortune just levels up and kills his Poro next turn. So he can deal 3 damage right here, but that doesn't really do anything. That's the problem with the Poro deck sometimes, right? They completely break. But again, even without him breaking, I have had a lot of great success with this deck versus the Poro deck. I don't think they're really able to win versus MF unless they're like completely high roll. So here there's a chance that he has the thing, right? So I think it's actually better to drag with this, although we do have this. So actually, if he kills our Valor, we're okay with it. It gives me an excuse to play the Vanguard Surgeon. Like if he kills this right here by doing the Poros snacks, he needs to do like, actually he doesn't have enough mana to kill it. Because even if he does the Iceborne Legacy, it only takes it to 3 health, which dies to Misfortune. So it didn't matter which one we drag. Actually, probably was better to drag the Herder, but I don't think it matters. Regardless, I think this game is already over. Yeah, so the Legacy. Then we just play the Surgeon. I guess he could have a Troll Shin, but he doesn't. I'm really thinking that it's probably actually better to play the Surgeon anyways. Although I think it's lethal, right? Yeah, it's lethal. Just through the MF, it's lethal. Yeah, let's not keep the opponent hostage. Let's just finish up with Misfortune. But here's another game where Misfortune just kind of seals the deal. Opponent didn't really have any way to deal with her. Again, he did break, but I think that because we had the right tools to protect Misfortune, that we always level the Misfortune there and we always win before he can kill us. So, yeah. Alright, so we're up against Thralls, and our deck tends to do pretty good against Thralls. The problem with Thralls is that they tend to do really bad against Rally. Um, so unfortunately for this guy, he's gonna be in a lot of pressure. Now, keeping Misfortune is good. I mean, she might die. Keeping Queen is also tempting, to be honest, like very tempting. Like actually super tempting. But I don't think I can get that greedy. I think I want to be able to find some more early damage. Um, Keeping the Blinding Assault is actually a little bit risky because obviously you can just avalanche this stuff. But okay, we got the Queen anyways. So we're gonna get to see if that would have been a mistake or not. Okay, a little too many Queens now. Too many. A little bit too many. Hmm. It. Oh, you know what? I could have done the Blinding Assault. Let's see if he spends his mana. Okay. So opponents should know that we have this card in our deck. You should never do that, I guess, against the scouts, because a lot of them do play Blinding Assault now. So the opponent just kind of gave me 4 free damage. Not only that, but he also tapped out of 4 mana, which means that next turn we can just drop Misfortune, and he shouldn't have a way to deal with her, unless he has, which they do run the 3-cost spell, the Ice Shard. So that's the only thing that we gotta be careful for. But I don't think he has it. We can play Misfortune here. We open, killing the Tavern Keeper, and then drop down the Surgeon. So we don't need to block here. Our damage doesn't matter. We're just trying to raise him down. So we open, getting the Scout attack and killing the Tavern Keeper. And now we even have a way to protect the Misfortune for the future turns. Now, the one thing that will make me sad here will be a Rabin. But I don't think the Rabin gets in there anyways, because even with Rabin, we're still pushing 7 damage. Wow, okay, the opponent must be really desperate. If anything, he should have tried to play stuff that would advance this. Maybe he just doesn't have anything though, so that's a little bit unfortunate. This might be a game where we actually finish using for the mass. Okay, yeah. So our opponent is unfortunately doesn't really have a way to advance his Thralls. Seems to just have straight up landmarks and kind of like nothing else, right? So again, Sharpsight can save us later. Double Sharpsight is even better. We can play Queen for Demacia next turn, and I don't see how the opponent wins from there. Especially because Misfortune is actually going to level up as well. The scary part here will be if he plays Rabin. If he plays Rabin, I think I'm still playing the Queen and setting up for Demacia. playing the rally right now is not the right time in my opinion because we don't have a scout unit. If we had a scout unit and we could level up Misfortune, I would probably do it. But I think I want to wait for the Golden Ages for when we have a scout unit that we can take advantage of. He could play Avalanche or he could play the Rabin. I think either way, I'm okay with sacrificing the Valor. Okay, so the opponent ended up doing the Rabin, and again, I'm okay doing this because what we're gonna set up next turn is gonna be a Fort Demacia with Quinn having scouts and leveling up the Misfortune. And because Misfortune also gets overwhelmed, and this card is gonna still be on the field, it should end up winning us the game. Obviously, the punish here will be a Three Sisters into the Frozen Tomb, which would be, but that would cost him 6 mana, so we're living with 2 mana, which means that the Queen still ends up pushing damage. So I think no matter what he does, the opponent is kind of dead here because we have 6 attack units. Yeah. So what does he do here? Because again, the scout attack with Quinn uh, into the level up Misfortune with units that all have 6 attack, right? Misfortune is going to have 7 attack and overwhelm. And we still have Sharpside as well as a kind of backup finisher. I guess he could have double freeze. That could be an option. So if he has double freeze, he needs to use the first freeze on the Queen right away because she's gonna attack with the scout attack, right? Stalling, huh? So if he has a double freeze, we can just play the Sharpside, or he can just get that leveled up as well. I guess that's not a bad option. I mean, by leveled up, I mean like actually trigger it. Hmm. So we can play Valor because if he has anything that stops the Valor, like if he has Avalanche, he's losing right away because our open attack is 13 damage, right? So even if he has Avalanche here, we're okay with that.
It's our time to shine, Valor.
So I see what he did, right? He did that because he meant that the Queen you can't block, but even, we need to play the Valor here, either Valor or the Sharpside, because he has 4 mana, which means that he still has enough mana to do the freeze. Uh, with the freeze with the so here it's tempting. I mean, I guess it's not tempting. Actually, this is the right play because even if he freezes this, we don't do any damage. So the right play is actually to attack with everything. So that even if he has the freeze, he only has enough for 1 freeze. This is still gonna be 13 damage because of the Misfortune skill. So again, we're playing around the Three Sisters here. Yep, and there we go. And that's the game. The Three Sisters, if we attack with Queen and Valor and I got our Scout attack in, he could Three Sisters the Queen, which prevents the 6 damage from the Queen. We get the 1 damage from Misfortune, which puts him at, what, 12? But the Valor dies, and then in our normal attack, even with the Misfortune level up, we're only pushing 10 damage, so he survives with 3 HP. Now, obviously, the opponent at that point didn't have a board because he just spent everything on the Thrall, but we still rather finish the game right there rather than kind of wait around, right? So, all right. So here we'll go against Thralls. So Misfortune has a very good matchup against Thralls. Usually this deck will lose if you're able to kind of get your rallies. So I'm actually gonna mulligan everything because really what I'm looking for here is rally. Misfortune is also pretty good. Having the sharp side to protect her is amazing. And then from here, and there's the rally. So then from here, all we have to do is just continuously put damage on him, right? Unfortunately for us, he does get to go first, which means that on the turn that we drop Misfortune, he can do the Avalanche. But it also means that that turn where we drop Misfortune, he cannot do the Ravine on us, right? So we can jump Misfortune here. And if he has Avalanche, he has Avalanche. I don't care. So it's not even Avalanche, which is fine. Okay, he smartly enough doesn't do what I've seen people do before, which is actually take that block, right? So I'm okay with doing the Surgeon right here. There's a consideration that actually the protector was better. It allows me to attack with the misfortune, right? But the protector leaves us vulnerable to like an avalanche, because then everything will die. Although we do have the ranges resolved, so you know it could have worked out. I'm gonna attack with this, and I'm actually gonna try to bait out with the sharp side the block on the Lysandra. Unfortunately, we don't have any scout attacks to level up the misfortune, so here we're gonna kill the Lysandra, which I'm okay with,
Love ya.
just in case that she levels up, and because Lysandra is really annoying with the misfortune skill, right? Uh, Next turn he's probably gonna do the Rabin. If he does the Rabin, I'm actually willing to do the Golden Ages. So again, I'm assuming here that he's gonna do the Rabin. The problem again is that we do not have a scout unit. So, oh wow. I think I'm willing to do the Golden Ages regardless. I think him doing that play was really greedy because now we can put a lot of pressure. We have a second Golden Ages if we need to do anything. And he even does that. Okay, this is even better for us now. Nothing takes damage. He's going to take a full attack from 3, 6, 8, 9. Um, Next turn we can level up the Misfortune with a second rally.
Set sail.
No Rabin, no
Mwah.
Avalanche. Usually I like finishing up before the Demacia. Actually, the open attack is also lethal. So he needs to deal with the open attack right away.
Guns blazing.
Because it's right away exactly 9 HP and he doesn't have it. So yeah, this deck just feasts on Thralls, unfortunately for the opponent.
That's how it.
And that got us to 120 LP. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Again, this deck has been doing amazing for me, so I definitely recommend Scouts in the current meta. It does really well against the control decks that you're seeing around, and I think it also does well against Ahri Kennen. Really, the one matchup that I struggle with a lot is against the Kindred PNC variants. So hopefully you don't run against that deck that much. I also been getting a lot of questions about why not Stony um, or stuff like that. So again, I think the Stony version is a completely different deck. If I was running Stony, I would build this deck completely different, where I'm running a more kind of control and more slow game plan, where I'm really focusing on leveling up my champions. And actually, if I was to run Stony, I wouldn't even run Quinn. I would instead run Poppy and try to win the game that way. So if I was to build a Stony version, I would take out the Marai Warden, I would take out the Queen. I would take out maybe not all the Citrus, but actually might go with the Citrus as well. They might just go out of the window. And I think you kind of build a more controlled deck where you're trying to really just save your champions and kind of control the board. So actually, I would probably do something like this where I go for a Bannerman version when I'm playing Stony instead of going for the go wide version. So then where's my Bannerman? Because at that point, if you're playing Stony, you're trying to control the board and trying to prevent the opponent from doing any spells and keeping your champions alive. Because if you're playing the Stony, the only way that you're going to win is really through keeping Misfortune or Poppy alive. So actually, it's probably better to just get rid of the Gristle Ranger as well, although it does let you level up. And I also would rather go the Lauren Prodigy here instead of the Vanguard Surgeon. Again, because in this version of the deck, you're kind of playing a more control style where you're kind of removing your opponent key units and kind of stalling for your champions to kind of go off. I actually think because we're not running that many, we're not running Quinn and we're not running the other 4-drop, the Navigator, you actually want to have the Jenny instead of the Citria. Obviously to buff your units to allow them to survive another turn when they level up. And actually, you probably want to put this up to 3. Although I don't know what else you will remove here. Maybe you remove one Squire and just bring Jenny to 3. So this would be the version that I would run if I was actually trying to run a Stony Suppressor version. Again, because of the Challenger and the Stony, it kind of goes to a more control style. So, but yeah, either if you play this version, that's fine. I don't think it's a great version in the meta right now because I don't think Stony hits like any any really meaningful decks. Like you think Stony might be useful against Ahri Kennen, but Ahri Kennen can be so unit heavy that they don't really need to use the spells that often, you know. Um, so I don't think stun is that huge versus, but I mean it does slow them down, right? It does slow them down enough to allow you to level up your champions and finish the game. So I guess it could be good. But yeah, so this is another alternative version if you guys want to try that out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.